I suppose you guys are wondering, what the hell was that? That is the new glow-in-the-dark D-loop made by Luma. It's called the Luma Loop. Let me tell you guys, this thing is awesome. You know, when you're out and you're in your ground blind, you know, right before daylight or right after sunset, it's really dark in there and it's hard for you to find your D-loop. Man, this thing's going to be awesome. For you hog hunters that are sitting up in your tree, you know, it's really dark out, it's hard to find that D-loop, this thing is the answer. For me, it's really going to be good for me when I'm out bow fishing with my slingshot. You know, I always shoot fingers when I shoot bow fishing with my regular bows. But when I go out and I shoot my slingshot, there's a lot of finger pinch and it gets my fingers pretty raw right here. So I would shoot a D-loop and a release. And even though I have lights all around the front of the boat, it's really dark up by me. And this thing glows in the dark, man. I can just take my release, put it right on there, and I'm ready to go. Now, I know there's a lot of you guys out there that are going to say, oh, I don't need a glow-in-the-dark D-loop. That's just a big waste of money. What do I need it for? I'm going to tell you why you need it. Bottom line, without a doubt, this thing is cool. And you know what? It's just like having a Luma on your arrow when you're out bow fishing at night. Do I really need it? No, but it's friggin' cool. So, just another reason why I'm going to do it. While I was putting that on my slingshot, I was just kind of thinking to myself, wow, I remember when I used to struggle tying a D-loop. Now I've tied hundreds of them, so they're really simple. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do it. You know, no more going to the pro shop and spending 20, 30 bucks to tie the dreaded D-loop. We're going to show you how to do it. In big time fashion, we're going to do it in a big scale. So I went out, I got some really thick rope. It's going to really be easy for you guys to see how the knot comes together. And then I went and scrounged myself a piece of copper pipe here. So that's going to act as my bowstring. So I'm going to tie the knot here a couple of times, show you how it is, and then I'm going to install it onto my hunting bow. So here we go. First thing first. This will be basically like where my arrow nock is. So I want to have my D-loop on a knot on the top and one on the bottom. And now I want my tag ends to be on the outside of each knot. So that's what we're going to do here. First thing, you want to come underneath your bowstring and then come back over the top and go to the inside, which is towards your arrow nock, which would be right here. You want to come to the inside. And then you want to come underneath your D-loop string and back over the top of your bowstring. What that's going to do is create this little loop right here. So when you come over the top, you want to come back underneath and just come right through that loop you made right there, and then you're going to cinch it down. Now for the other side, now remember our nock of our arrow is right here. So we're going to come right here, we're going to go underneath the bowstring, and then we're going to go to the inside of the D-loop, just like this. We're going to come underneath the D-loop string and back over the top of our bowstring. And there's that little loop again, which you're just going to come with your tag end right through there, cinch her down. That is basically your giant D-loop right there. Tag ends are to the outside. Good to go. So real quick, I'm going to show you this again, and then we'll move on to doing it for real. Got your tag end. You're going to come underneath your bowstring, over the top, and to the inside. Then you're going to come back underneath, around to the outside, over the top of your bowstring, and then through that loop that you created right there. Just like that. And you're going to cinch that down. You can come here. We're going to go underneath the bowstring, back into the inside, over the top and to the inside of your D-loop, underneath your D-loop string, and back over the top of your bowstring, which will create that little loop right there. And you're going to come through, you're going to cinch her down, and there it is, just like that. That's your giant D-loop right there. So now we're going to do it for real. You can buy D-loop a couple different ways. You can buy it in a big spool, or you can buy it pre-cut. The Luma Loop comes with 2 pre-cut pieces ready to go, ready to mount on your bow. If you buy the pre-cut D-loop material, I don't know if it's burned or not because I buy mine in bulk. So real quick, I'm going to show you how to burn and put the little ball on the end of the string. It's very important that you have this because this keeps the D-loop from coming untied. First thing, you got your string just like that, your D-loop. This is a braided D-loop cord that you would buy. You want to take your finger and bounce it on top, just like that. And what that does, it frays that end, just like that. And once you get that end frayed, you're going to want to burn it. You can use a lighter or whatever. I'm going to use a stove real quick. Now, you don't want to start this on fire too much and actually burn it where it crystallizes. You want to do this a couple times and then just kind of lick your finger and pound it flat. Now what that does, that creates that mushroom head on there, just like that. So we're going to do the other side. Just bounce your finger on there a little bit, get it all frayed out, and then come and, you know, burn it again. You just do it a couple times, lick your finger, or get some spit on it, or get some water, and then just cool it off and give yourself that balled up end. So there we go. Now we're going to do our Luma loop. It's already pre-done, ready to go. Got my Oneida Eagle bow here. I need to put a new one on there, and I want to have the Luma loop because it's freaking cool, so I want to have it. Okay, first thing, if you're going to be putting a new one on there, you're going to have to go and have your bow all squared up, and it's probably easier to have it done at the pro shop. But if you're replacing one, it's really easy. First thing you do is mark it out with a magic marker where your D-loop goes, or if you're like me, I have a knocking points on my bow. It's always there, it never changes, and my D-loop goes underneath it, so I'm ready to go. So I know right where mine's got to go, so I got to tie it, ready to tie. So first things first, underneath the bowstring, up and around towards the inside of your D-loop, go back underneath your D-loop string, over the top of your bowstring, and then just back through that thing. And then just kind of snug it up, not too tight. So that's what you're ready to do. Now you're going to go back, turn it around. We're going to make our D. So we're going to come underneath the bowstring. We're going to go through our D loop. Come back around. You can snug this up because it'll come out and the loop will be bigger when we're done. So you're going to come back around underneath. Go underneath your bowstring. Come back over the top. And right through that loop that you made right there. Now, you can snug your D up. What you can do is you can take a needle nose pliers, get it in there and stretch it. Or me, I got a set of knocking pliers and it's got the grooves on the top for the D loop. So what we're going to do is just take and snug it up just like that. She's ready to go. Rock and roll. D loop installed. Luma loop, cool.